What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for round number 4 of the Output Racing League, live from the Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. As I said, we're here for round number 4 of the Output Racing League in the B car here for Season 3 2019. We've already got a good amount of cars registered for this race. We've got 17 competitors on track for this tight little half-mile track. The fastest half mile in the world, and even once featured dirt racing. Alright, well, we're going to go and jump into the car now and try and get a little bit of a pit party going so we can talk you guys through driving around this track a little bit and have a little bit of fun while we do it. So let's get on to that. Gotta wait for everyone to get formed up and ready to go. And we just get hit by Thomas Harmon.
Come on, get it turned around. They go the wrong way.
Good party.
Gonna have to turn the radio on so we can hear when we gotta start rolling and when we gotta go and all that.
Pit party. Let's go. One to green.
Like we're rolling now. People probably wonder why I prefer to be at the back for these pit parties on the broadcast.
Slow car up high. Slow car ahead.
That is mostly just so
Those cars in.
we can see what goes on.
Still on the left. Clear
3,
inside.
2, 1, green.
Car inside. Still on the left.
Now, Bristol, very busy little place. The
594.
high line is the king line.
Still on the left.
The low line can work later on when the tyres are quite a bit
Car
warm.
inside.
There's certain spots on the outside wall that you can bounce off of to actually gain speed.
Still on the left. 16.3.
Oh, and that's not one of them.
Clear inside.
Another byproduct of racing at Bristol is the takeout, and I think we just got taken out by Mark. Another important thing about Bristol is that it's a track where you don't necessarily have to have a nice car, as we're going to actually pull into the pits and get a new car
26.254.
after that damage. Just so we can take you guys around on a couple laps. As I was saying before, Highline is king. You see Thomas Harmon, the king of Bristol, right behind us.
Car inside.
And Frank squeezes us up into the wall.
Clear inside.
You want to make the low line work, you've got to make sure you can pull it off very quickly because it's not very viable, as I said, on fresher tyres. As we see that Bristol check up again. This time we save it. Kind of.
17.912. Car outside.
We'll wait for Brian to go past us. We'll slot in behind him.
Clear outside.
Yeah, to make the inside line work, you need two things to work in your favour.
Stay right, stay right.
You need to be able to be on the
17.317.
outside on the straightaways so you can get that nice little dive in. And you need everyone else to be on old tyres. This is what the low line looks like. You have to slow down a lot more for the low line, obviously. If you can, try and hook your left side tyres onto that apron. That'll give you the best chance of gaining as much speed as you possibly can.
15.888. Stay right, car inside, clear inside.
And also 2 pit lanes here at Bristol. So it is important to qualify well so you can end up on that front straight pit lane. Because you're definitely at a disadvantage if you're on the back straight one.
Car inside. Clear
As we go
inside.
past Brandon Miller there. His very brightly coloured car, pink and green.
Stay right, stay right.
Alright, now let's see what a pit entry is like around here at Bristol.
Clear inside. 15.74.
Have to get onto the brakes very hard, get it really slowed up. Very slow pit lane.
Start looking for your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop on the sign.
There we
Too far
go.
forward, back
Don't
it
worry
up,
about
back
how
it
far
up, back it
forward
up.
I am.
Too far forward, back it up, back it up, back it up.
Alright guys, so that was our little preview of Bristol there from a driver's perspective. Let's do a quick little run through where everyone's at so far here in practice. We've got Thomas Harmon on top of the times with a 15.160. Justin Botello currently P2. Derek Myers P3. Caleb Finn 4th. Brandon Bennett 5th. Monty Johnson, a new name in the field, P6. Travis Massier 7th. Matt Burgess 8th. Jaron Sanchez in 9th. And Jerry Glenn 10th. And another new name we have in the field is actually the 81 here of Corey Wilson. Or Williamson, sorry. Let's dive into his stats a little bit just here. As you can see in the bottom left hand corner there, he is a C-Class 3.51 driver with a very low 938 I rating there from Canada. Hopefully he can have himself some good luck. But the odds are definitely against him here at this time. Now we were going to go and check out our other newbie driver, but he's not on the track at the moment. We have Brian Harris on the screen at the moment though. Jaron Sanchez, league owner and operator. Currently sitting in P9. Now we have a field of 19 cars at the start of this race. We've got 15 minutes left here in practice and then the 5 minutes of qualifying, and that should even things out a little bit as far as the field goes. Thomas Harmon now right in front of Jaron. Now we we see the two old rivals, Tommy Bordeaux, battling on the inside of Thomas Harmon there. Tommy getting that inside move working perfectly for him. As you can see, as I was saying, you really want to get him cleared in the corner. You want to start from the outside of the track and move right down to that low line. Either Tommy or Thomas got that done, but Tommy gave a little bit of a tap to Derek Myers there, sending him around. You might be seeing quite a bit of that here in this race. Now we've got the 16 of Charles Becker on the screen. He's going right up on the back there of the 7 of Brian Harris. As they've also got Chris Champeau there on the inside of them. Another league rookie this season. Charles has been improving a lot in the last few races. Hopefully he can get himself another good result here, as I know he would absolutely love it as he tries to look on the inside of Brian Harris, but that's going to invite the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux to his outside. Charles almost squeezed him off there, which would have caused a bit of a problem there for both of them. They got Chris Champeau going around the outside of him as well. And Tommy Bordeaux is now also making a move on the outside of Brian Harris. Gets it done quite easily. Brian giving him the space. Brian now checking up Chris a little bit there. Looks like these guys are going to argue over track position for a little bit at the moment. Of course, they're not battling it out for a real position, just track position. As things start getting really busy with people coming out of the pits. Looks like we've got Brian Harris around now. Looks like he's not going to get that towed anytime soon. Let's go and check out Dustin German making a welcome return to the track. Check out his stats here really quickly. He's an A-Class 1.69 driver, so he's at the risk of losing his A license here this week. With it being week 13 and Netcode Central, and as we're just trying to give him the big raps, he goes and spins out 2768 I rating from Carolina. Good to see Dustin back on track, even if he is crashing out a little bit here. Here we go, Corey Williams, the 81, back on track again. I think he might need to do something about his number. It doesn't quite line up with his paint job there. If I was him, I would have gone for like that Tide blue for his number to allow it to match in with his paint job there a little bit better. But each to their own. Look at me giving fashion advice on cars. As we see Brian Harris making the inside move work there on Corey. Corey must be going a little bit slow for that high line at the moment, as we see him just hit the wall a little bit there. As now we see Thomas Harmon coming back out onto the track. Thomas Harmon, the as we got a crash. The 88 Jonathan Hernandez, the 98 Jerry Glenn, the 16 of Charles Becker, 78 of Brian Pizzakemi is also involved. Going back to Thomas now, he is our local Bristol expert. Thomas, one of the fastest guys around Bristol, always wins this particular race. You see Justin Vitello getting a little bit loose in front of him. I don't think there's been a single Bristol race that Thomas Harmon has not won yet in ORL history. It'll be interesting to see what he can do here today with us. And maybe he can extend that win streak that he has here, with Bristol being one of his favourite tracks. As we now see the 21 of Brian Chambliss going around. Oh, the 7 and the 5. Brian Harris and Mark Pentecoff getting into it. Justin Vitello having a little bit of trouble here as well. Looks like guys might have been getting a little bit rowdy over on the radio there. Looks like Jaren's banned the driver chat for now. Someone in the comments has just said, tonight, maybe his luck ends. Or continues to dominate. Had to pause for dramatic effect there, as we see Chris Champeau on the screen now, right behind Jerry Glenn. And right behind Chris is the one of Brandon Bennett as well. Chris getting into the wall, getting loose, just about whacking Brandon there. Brandon managing to escape without much damage. Chris heading into the pits as well. 7.5 minutes left in practice here. Your top 10 is Thomas Harmon, Justin Vitello, Derek Myers, Brandon Bennett, Caleb Finn, Jaron Sanchez, Dustin German, Tommy Bordeaux, Monty Johnson, and Gerald West. As we have a look at the last 13 drivers here, because we do have 23 now. We have Travis Massey in 11th, Matt Burgess, Brian Chambliss, Jonathan Hernandez in 14th, Charles Becker, Jerry Glenn, Brian Pizzakemi, Frank Isaacson, Brian Harris, Brandon C. Miller, Chris Champeau, Corey Williamson, and Mark Pentecoff rounding off the field at the moment. As on screen we have Thomas Harmon giving the hurry up there to Brandon Bennett, pushing him up into the wall. Thomas very aggressive around here, but he's going to have to be if he wants to try and get another win here at Bristol. As we see him get a little bit loose coming off turn 4. That's one thing that we're going to have to watch out for, is cars getting loose on corner exit from pushing too hard. Put in just a little bit too much throttle input and you will be going around. Everyone's trying to get as much practice in as they can now. With there being just 6 minutes left, everyone will also be starting to think about trying to practice qualifying runs to see what they can do when it comes to the qualifying situation. It's going to be a little bit hard for all these cars on the track though to do a simulation qualifying run, but the fast guys will still be able to get it done regardless. You see now Jerry Glenn, Mark Pentecoff, and Brian Chambliss on the screen. And then we go off to Justin Botello having a spin. It looks like Caleb Finn might have been involved there. We've got a big pack here, led by Thomas Harmon. We've got Frank Isaacson in there, Chris Champeau, and at the back of it, we got Matt Burgess in the 12 car. Looks like Matt might be running a new scheme here, a Miller Lite paint scheme. Not bad looking scheme at all, nice and sleek in design. While we're at it, let's bring up Matt's stats here. Matt is an A-Class 3.59 driver with a 2140 I rating. He's from the Midwest, and he's done 44 laps so far in practice here. Actually, no, he's done 137 laps. He's done 44 laps on these tires, and he is still pumping out 16 flats. So to put that into perspective, he's only about 9/10 off the fastest lap of the practice here with these 44 lap hole tires. That is pretty cool. Nice little piece of technology we got here. You see Justin Botello starting to come out of the pits as well now. We haven't had a look at Justin for a while, and he's nice purple and black. Justin Bow 20 on Twitch paint scheme. Don't forget, guys, a lot of the drivers who do stream this race on Twitch are listed down below, and hopefully some of them have multi-Twitch links available so you can watch both this broadcast and your favorite streamer at the same time. As we see a little bit of a kerfuffle there, J-Bo has gone straight into the wall. See Chris Champeau around. Looked like Thomas Harmon was just coming out of the pits when all that was going down. We see now Thomas Harmon on the screen. Right in front of him is Brian Chambliss. See Matt Burgess peeling down into the pits. Thomas working over Chambliss pretty hard here, looking to the outside, not going to get the run there. Oh, and Chambliss has been tapped, and he has been sent half around by Thomas. If I was Chambliss, I'd be looking for revenge with that short track temper stuff. We don't condone that here at ORL, but it's definitely entertaining to watch. It looks like they've got themselves sorted out now as Thomas has pulled away. Gonna go and look at Dustin German now in the 99 car. And then go a little bit back further behind him to Travis Massia. Travis currently working on lap 9 of these tyres. His last lap was a 15.718. As he's crossed the line this time, he had a 15.993. Right behind Travis is the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. Now you might have thought that I just swapped over to Brian's number there, but I did not. That was in fact iRacing. As things are starting to get a little bit sketchy. Oh, as we got a crash as well. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez in that crash. Go and have a look at Jonathan here real quick as he's sitting in the pits. Jonathan is an A-Class 3.42 racer with a 36.94 I rating from Texas. He is one of the fast drivers we have, but it looks like he's struggling here a little bit, just barely into the top 10 in 8th position with a 15.269. get Brian Pizzacemi back on the screen. Got a little bit loose there coming out of turn 2. Working the outside of Charles Becker with Brandon Bennett right behind him, working the outside as well. Brandon now looking for the inside run on Brian. Doesn't quite get there. In fact, Brian hits the wall. Everyone hits Brian. Brian's gone around. Brandon Bennett's just gone around as well. It looks like that is going to be the end of practice here. So stick around, guys. When we come back, we will be getting ready to grid up here for the Output Racing League, round number 4 from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Alrighty guys, we're back. We're going to be cutting that video short as we got people starting to form up on the grid now. Welcome again to round number 4 of the Output Racing League here from the Bristol Motor Speedway Season 3 of 2019. Starting off from the pole, we are going to be having the 20 car Justin Botello, and on his outside will be the 54 of Derek Myers. Starting out of P3 will be the 38 of Thomas Harmon, and on his outside will be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Gonna have league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez starting out of the 5th position, and on his outside out of P6 will be the 95 of Caleb Finn. We will have Jerry Glenn in 98 out of P7 with Travis Masia on his outside in the 13. Tommy Bordeaux in the 57 will start out of 9th with Brian Chambliss in the 21 starting out of 10th. Frank Isaacson in the 24 car will be 11th with Brandon Bennett starting out of 12th in the 1. Charles Becker in the 16 car will be starting out of 13th, and on his outside will be the 12 of Matt Burgess. Chris Champeau in the 2 car will be starting out of 15th. On his outside will be league rookie Corey Williamson. Then we're going to have Brian Harris in the 7, starting out of 17th. On his outside will be the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. Got Mark Pentecourt starting out of the 19th position with Gerald West starting on his outside all the way down in 20th. The first car, who have not set a lap time. In 21st, we're going to have Dustin German. 22nd will be Logan Lansford. In 23rd will be the other league rookie of Monty Johnson. And out of 24th position will be the 22 of Brandon Miller. Alright guys, so that is the grid as we have it here. We're starting to roll off onto the pace laps already. 2 pace laps here for Bristol, with it being such a small track. It's going to be a lot of action all the way through this field. It's going to be hard to keep up at times, but we're going to do our best. Time to reach up and pull those belts tight. Kick some tires, light some fires, and get ready to rumble in the jungle that is the last great Coliseum of Bristol. As we've got one more pace lap to go around before we send these drivers off to their fate. Justin's car actually looks pretty wicked here. Seeing it under lights like this, it really does look wicked. As we roll onto the back straight for the last time before the race begins. The pace car has gone in. We start on green. And we are off and racing here for round number 4. Justin gets some wheel spin and he's caught some drama already. League owner and operator Jaron Sanchez is involved. We got chaos as people are crashing everywhere. It's hard to keep up with who was involved in that and who was not. Justin. Oh, Justin. Let's go back and have a look at that again. As for some reason, I'm on the wrong scene. We see here, coming up to the green, Justin just suffering some really bad wheel spin there. Goes down to the inside of the track. Still losing it, comes back up right in front of the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, who in turn comes up into Caleb Finn, the 95 car. Looks like the 13 of Travis just clips the 98 of Jerry Glenn. Looks like they were able to keep going. Charles Becker and Brandon Bennett there also involved. 57 of Tommy Bordeaux with some heavy rear end damage there. Looks like he's able to continue on going though. Alrighty, so that's one way to start the race. And we already have at least 3 cars a lap down at the moment as well. We just have to wait and see how everything unfolds when people come out of the pits. We'll see where everyone is properly. As it looks like Brandon Miller's got a wave around there. Looks like the lights are still on the pace car, so we're still going to be a little bit away from going green here. The one good thing about this track being so small is that the pace laps are also really short. Having an official look now, it looks like we've got 4 cars 1 lap down. That's Frank Isaacson, Dustin German, newcomer Corey Williamson, and Justin Botello. But Derek is going to be the pole man. He's starting from the outside. The lights are out. We're going to go green this time by, as we make our way onto the back straight. Getting ready to get it on again. Now that we don't have to start on green, we start wherever the leaders want. We will probably get a good start in the corner where there is a little bit more grip than on the straightaway. Pace car goes in. And we are racing again here at Bristol. Derek Myers getting a huge jump off the start. Thomas Harmon immediately going to that low line. Not able to make any real time up just yet. But these two have already started to pull away from the rest of the pack. The rest of the pack is currently being led by the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez there. Tommy Bordeaux also trying to navigate his way on the inside as we see Jerry Glenn going around after a tap from Travis Massia. Complete anarchy here. See Jerry getting turned around and getting back going again. Let's go back and have a look at that accident. Travis just getting a little bit too high there, coming off the corner, just about tapping the wall, overcorrecting down into Jerry Glenn here in the 98 car. Brandon Bennett, oh, he copped a big piece of that. Matt Burgess, very lucky not to get a piece of it himself. Looks like everyone else managed to get through all that unscathed. Dustin German gets the wave around here, the lucky dog. The leader of the race is still Derek Myers with Thomas Harmon in P2. This time we have the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez in 3rd, Tommy Bordeaux in 4th, Travis Massia still holding on to 5th, Ryan Chambliss P6, Darren Sanchez in 7th, Chris Champo 8th, Brian Harris 9th, and Brandon Bennett was in 10th, but he's just come down into the pit stop. Might be Matt Burgess in 10th here. So hopefully we can get a little bit of a better run here. We still have 4 cars a lap down. That's going to be Jerry Glenn, Frank Isaacson, Corey Williamson, and Justin Botello. Justin, the unfortunate victim of wheel spin early on. I think someone forgot to tell him that there's a wheel spin at Bristol. Oh, and Jaron Sanchez has just blown up the car. Jaron is out of the race. That's a big hit for league owner and operator, Jaron Sanchez. He's going to have to tow from the back straight pit area there. The lights have gone out on the pace car now. So we're getting ready to go green again. Field comes into turn 3 and struggling to hold back a cough. Could not hold back the cough. Pace car goes in, and we're off and racing again.
Go, go, go. Green flag.
Derek again with a very strong jump there on the outside. As I want to go and have a look at this battle for third right now. We got Jonathan Hernandez on the inside, Tommy Bordeaux on the outside. Tommy using the momentum up high to take the third position away from Jonathan Hernandez. Really a disadvantage to start on the inside here. It looks like we got these guys going good now, with Brian Chambliss now looking to make a move on the inside of Jonathan. Not going to quite get it done because of the outside advantage. But we'll just have to wait and see there. We're going to go check in on our leaders again here really quickly. Thomas Harmon trying to get a run down on the low side here of Derek Myers. Derek diamonding off the corner very slightly there on exit. Thomas still right there on the low side. If anyone's going to make this low sign work, it's going to be Thomas Harmon, as we got another safety car out on the track. And it looks like it's Justin Bowe again. Let's go back and have a look. Big checkup, and Justin's gone around. I don't think this is what's brought out the caution. In fact, that was what brought out the caution, Justin going around. He gets it gathered back up again and gets going. That was just as Thomas was starting to try and make a run at Derek Myers there. Let's see if maybe we can grab Justin in for a quick chat here. Does not look like we can. I don't see Justin in the Discord channel, so we'll just have to wait for another time to have a chat with him. Maybe we can get him later on. Anyway, an update to our standings now. We got Derek Myers, Thomas Harmon, Tommy Bordeaux, Jonathan Hernandez, Brian Chambliss, Travis Massier, Matt Burgess, Brandon Miller, Caleb Finn, and Charles Becker as your top 10. We're going to have Brian Harrison 11th, Gerald West 12th, Mark Penticuff, Chris Champo, Brian Pizzakemi, and Brandon Bennett, with Dustin German wrapping out the lead lap cars in 17th. But Justin Vitello, Frank Isaacson, Corey Williamson in one lap down in 18th, 19th, and 20th. Jaron Sanchez obviously out of this race. I'm pretty sure Jerry Glenn might be as well. And we also had a quick visit from Logan Lansford, but it looks like he's decided to not run. Like he's done an out lap and that's about it. Just one lap in the books. Now, with this being the end of the season for the official iRacing stuff, means that the servers are going to be a little bit wacky. So if you see people blinking out quite a bit, it's because the servers are getting ready to go down in about 8 hours time. This is the new build day. So the new build for iRacing comes in where there's new Xfinity cars, new dirt tracks, new road tracks, and lots of upgrades to some cars and stuff like that. It's an exciting time in iRacing, and that's also why things are a little bit glitchy, and the netcode's probably a little bit worse as we work our way through turns 3 and 4 now. Pace car goes in. We're back racing again. Derek Myers with another huge jump over Thomas Harmon. So the 88 Jonathan Hernandez is going to hold on to the 3rd position now, but he did get into the wall coming up in turn 2. It's kind of stunted his momentum a little bit there. Still holding on to it though is Tommy Bordeaux being victimized by the servers being a little bit wacky. Brian Chambliss working on his inside now, trying to see if he can get something to work on the inside for him. On the inside, Tommy Bordeaux doesn't look like he can quite get it done. But Travis Massio driving in right in behind him. Brian Chambliss gets a big run there going through turns 1 and 2. Does he have anything for the 57 and Tommy Bordeaux? It doesn't look like he does just yet. In fact, he lost a lot of ground there in turns 1 and 2 that time by. I'm going to go and have a quick squiz at how the leaders are going right now. Derek Myers is pulling away ever so slightly from Thomas Harmon as we see the 81 of Corey Williamson coming back out onto the track. Staying down on the apron, stay out of the way of the leaders. Very smart move. Thomas is just going to be working over Derek Myers here, trying to get whatever advantage he can to try and get the move made. Go check back in with the 3rd place battle here, in fact the 4th place battle. And it looks like Brian Chambliss has indeed made the inside move work on Tommy Bordeaux. Tommy relegated back to 5th now. Just behind them we have the 13 of Travis Massia. Behind him is the 12 of Matt Burgess. And to find the next car, we're going to go back behind these 2 lap cars of Justin Botello and Corey Williamson to find the 7 of Brian Harris. It looks like we're getting a little bit of a green flag run here. It also looked like we had a little bit of a battle going on there. See if I can find the right cars. We've got the 16 and the 86, 2 white cars. That is Gerald West and Charles Becker. They're also right on the back of Brandon Miller. Just behind them, Chris Champo and the 1 of Brandon Bennett as well. This is definitely going to make the racing interesting as we see these guys are also catching up to the lap cars in front of them. Or at least one of them as the 81 goes high. Oh, that's just caused a little bit of a cluster. We're a little bit 3 wide here, but then it's not. It's gone back down to 2 by 2. The big loser in that situation was Charles Becker, who got caught up behind the lap car of Corey Williamson. Corey running a little bit on the ragged edge there, even though he's a lap down. As we're going to go and check on this battle just ahead of him, the 22 and the 86. That's Brandon Miller and Gerald West respectively. Gerald working on that inside line on Brandon Miller. Couldn't quite get it pulled off just yet. Looks like he's got the overlap now. If he slid up, he will have the position clean and clear. In fact, he has got the position clean and clear as Brandon Miller ran a little bit too high and had to slow up a little bit more so he didn't plow it into the wall. Let's go back and check in with our leaders again now. Derek Myers in the 54 has actually got quite a bit of a gap here over the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas continuing to run that low line, not really making any headway onto the 54 of Derek Myers at the moment. In fact, Thomas looks like he's going to have to start dealing with Jonathan Hernandez here soon, who is not losing touch with them. Although I say that, and he's just lost a ton of time. But that could have just been my eyes deceiving me. Now, I don't think the gap is as bad as what it appears for Jonathan Hernandez here. We're going to go and have a look out the back of Jonathan's car here in just a second. We're going to change that here. There we go, clear view out the back of Jonathan's car. The 57 of Tommy Bordeaux and the 21 of Brian Chambliss battling away there just behind him. In fact, they look like they're starting to get a little bit closer to Jonathan here. As Jonathan's tyres are starting to go off, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to try and keep ahead of these guys, especially if they've been looking after their tyres a little bit. Brian Chambliss especially looking pretty racy here on the inside line. We're going to go back up to our leader now. It looks like he's starting to get ready to encounter some lap traffic here in just a little bit, with Mark Pentecoff in the 5 car coming up in the crosshairs. Mark is the last car on the lead lap in 15th position right now. Mark staying down low to let Derek go around the high side. He's also going to have Thomas Harmon to contend with here as well. Thomas going high for the first time in this race. Get around the 5 of Mark. And then returns instantaneously down to the low line. He is very close to Derek Myers right now. We could have a battle for the lead here as we start entering lap traffic again. Thomas now drawing up to the side of Derek. Couldn't quite get the move made there. Derek now going down low to cover off Thomas's charge. Thomas just managing to hold it a little bit lower than Derek there in the corner. And now again, Thomas right up on the inside of Derek. This time he still keeps the overlap. Corey Williamson stays up high, and that's Thomas Harmon into the lead of the race. Derek Myers relegated back to P2. Thomas using the lap car as a pick to get the lead there away from Derek Myers. This is where Thomas wants to be, at the front of the field. And we have a safety car on the track. I'm not sure what's happened here. So we're going to see if we can go back and have a look. It's either one of Brandon Bennett going for a spin. See what's happened to Brandon. Does he do it all by himself, or is there a causing situation? It looks like he's starting to get sideways there, so he's done it all on his own, just pushing a little bit too hard there, coming off the corner. And he's just hit that inside wall. That is going to kill his car. But he is still rolling for the moment, as the leaders are now finally starting to come into the pits. Mark Pentecoff in the 5 gets the wave around. Let's have a look at the race off pit road. Thomas Harmon gets the win off the pit road there. Mark going down to the inside of the track to let all the leaders back by. looks like Brandon Miller has actually stayed out in this pit stop cycle. So at the moment, your order is as follows. It's Brandon Miller in the 22, and then Thomas Harmon, Derek Myers, Jonathan Hernandez, Brian Chambliss, Tommy Bordeaux, Travis Massier, Gerald West, Caleb Finn, and Matt Burgess. So while we're looking at Brandon Miller here in the 22, let's bring up his stats really quickly here. Brandon Miller, a B-Class 2.88 driver with a 1426 I rating from the West. And he has 55 lap old tyres. Granted, about 15 of those laps have been under caution. So we can safely assume that he's got 40 lap old tyres here. As we're getting ready to get going again. Now it's going to be all up to Brandon Miller here on what lane he chooses. Whether he's going to go for the inside or the outside. Come around turns 3 and 4. We should be getting the one to go this time. In fact, we do. As the two wave around cars that go for their wave around. That's Justin Botello back onto the lead lap. And Logan Lansford now 23 laps down. Brandon Miller choosing the outside, which is going to put Thomas Harmon in his favourite place on the inside. Brandon Miller with those very, very old tyres. And everyone else behind him has freshies. Pace car is in.
Go, go, go.
And we are underway again. Brandon Miller not getting a good start at all. In fact, he's been getting fenced by the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, and that has just caused quite a bit of anarchy here. Brandon Miller just kicked out of the lead there by the 88, and that's going to put the 38 of Thomas Harmon back in control of this race. Let's see how bad that's affected the 88 here. He's back in the 10th position after that contact with Brandon Miller. And it looks like he's also sporting quite a bit of damage there on the front, but that's not going to matter too much with this being such a small track. Thomas Harmon on fresh tyres in the lead. With Derek Myers just behind him. This is Thomas's best chance to pull away from the field a little bit here. Start conserving his tyres a little bit, so he can be ready for when Derek does want to attack. But that's provided that Derek doesn't burn up his tyres really quickly here. Because even though tyres can last a while, you got to allow them to last that while. Gonna go and have a quick little look through the field here. We've got Thomas Harmon in first, Derek Myers in second, but Tommy Bordeaux sitting here in third, telling me that Brian Chambliss is in fourth, Gerald West is in fifth, Travis Massier still up there in P6, well done Travis. Brian Harris in the 7 is in 7th, but he's been hounded by the 12 of Matt Burgess. We're going to have Jonathan Hernandez in 9th, trying to stave off Caleb Finn, who is sitting there in 10th position. Then we're going to have Chris Champeau sitting there in 11th, with Charles Becker in the 16 and 12th. Mark Pentecoff, after getting his lap back, is in 13th, but he's about to get overtaken by the 20 of Justin Botello, who was sitting 14th. Justin looking low, can he quite get the run? Not quite yet. We've also got Brian Pizzakemi in 15th and Brandon Miller, who's just gone a lap down, in 16th. Justin cannot quite get that inside run to work. He's trying his hardest, but it's just not there. Gonna have a look at the 22 of Brandon Miller at the moment. He's getting passed by Tommy Bordeaux. Brandon with the oldest tyres in the field. He's hoping that a caution will come out here shortly so he can try and get the damage fixed and get a new set of tyres onto this thing. And he's hoping that he gets it done before Frank Isaacson overtakes him. So that way he will also get the lucky dog and get waved back around the field. Gonna have a look at our leader now. Contending with some more lap traffic, it's the 81 of Corey Williamson again. Corey having a bit of a rough initiation into the Output Racing League here, choosing to do his first race at Bristol. One of the most craziest races in the calendar. I personally wouldn't want to make my league debut at Bristol. But hey, each to their own. See, Derek now has actually visibly closed up this gap to Thomas right now. Thomas was continuing to try and run that low line, and it has not been paying off for him. As you see, he's moved up to the high line now to try and get the momentum going. Using that low line to try and save his tyres a little bit. So he had something to fight with when Derek was here to battle him. And it looks like he's trying to defend that position now. It goes back down to the low line now. He's got a little bit of a gap over Derek. Derek will be using those tyres up on the high line just a little bit more because you've got to push a little bit harder on that high line with it being the preferred line. There's certain little tricks and tricks you can do as the caution flag comes back out. See, the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez and the 2 of Chris Champeau have been involved. Gonna have a look at what's happened here for these guys. Coming up on the lap car of the 81. Oh, he hits Caleb Finn and then, he gets hit by Chris Champeau. It's unfortunate for Jonathan. That happened a little bit quickly. Let's go back again and have a look at that in the slow-mo. Corey Williamson made the 95 of Caleb Finn check up there. Jonathan with nowhere to go, thinking that it was go time, just running into the back of Caleb. And Chris Champeau with nowhere to go, with Jonathan sitting in the middle of the track there, just straight into the back of Jonathan. That is at least Chris's race pretty much done with that front end impact, and it looks like Jonathan's going to get a small front end impact there as well after already going up Caleb's clacker there. It looks like Brandon Miller is the recipient of the lucky dog again. Hopefully this time he'll go into the pits and get himself a set of fresh tyres. Being as though he's on 78 lap old tyres here. But the leaders will come in for their pit stops again. The leader of this race is actually going to be the 7 of Brian Harris. And then the 12 of Matt Burgess, who are both on 27 lap old tyres. So they came in at the last pit stop, the last caution. And they have not pitted this time around. So they're going to be taking the lead of this race. Brandon Miller has come into the pits this time, I can confirm. It looks like Brian Harris going to the pits this time around. He just wanted the points for leading the lap. Also got the 1 of Brandon Bennett coming into the pits. This is going to put the 12 of Matt Burgess in the lead now, as I think we will be on about 2 to go here. Let's see if we can have a quick chat with Jonathan Hernandez. Hey Jonathan, Corey up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yep.
Alrighty, man, so there's a lot to digest with what's just happened. First, let's talk about the restart really quickly here. Brandon spinning his tyres, not getting a good run, and you clipped him, sent both of you back into the pack. What's your feeling on that real quick?
Well, like I told my teammates Logan and Brian, you know, on the restart, I'm going when it's green. Simply because, you know, we got new tires and I got to compete with Derek and Thomas and Tommy and, you know, Champ. And Brandon went, and that's when I started going. I wasn't expecting wheel spin because it looked good on the start. But when you start wheel spinning, I was already on gas, full throttle, shifting. And there was just nothing I could do, and I ran in the back of him.
Alright, speaking of running into the back, we'll go really quickly. Calvin checked up for the lap car. You ran into him, then you got run into. What's your feeling on that?
Yeah, just I wasn't expecting Caleb to check up as much as he did. And when I checked up, I just got hit by.
Alrighty, thank you very much for your time, man. We're going to go back green. Oh, we got delayed green. We've got a little bit more time to talk here. Alright,
Yeah,
so
I guess.
while we got you here, anyone you'd like to thank really quickly?
Once again, I'd like to thank my team. I guess 2 weeks in a row, I get involved in 2 separate incidents that I got nowhere to go. I'm just ready for walking this Glen and Dago, honestly.
Alright, thank you very much, man. We'll catch you later on, hopefully.
Alright, Corey.
Alright, so that was the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez with the fastest chat that I could muster with him. I'm not sure why the green has been delayed. It was delayed green by the admin. I'm not sure what's going on here. See if we can bring the scanner up to see what's going on.
Hold on. That car's not even out, is it?
No. No, pace car's back on pit road already.
Pace car is stopped on pit road.
The safety car lights are still on. We're going around one more time.
Alright, pace car's back on track. So if you need to catch pace car, go ahead and catch it because it's back on track in turn 2.
No, it's telling us let the pace car by. Don't go catch it.
Oh, that
Jesus.
Alrighty, I have no idea what's going on here. All I know is that's a little bit of craziness right now. Either way, we're back to 1 to green now. Hopefully we've got that confusion all sorted out.
The safety car lights are still on. We're going around one more
Got
time.
another delayed green. Still not sure about what's going on here right now. See if we can drag league owner and operator up into the booth to see what's going on. Hey Jaron, Corey up in the booth, you have a copy?
Yeah, man, what's up?
We're a little bit confused. What's with all the delayed greens, man?
We got a bit of a mess we're just sorting out, but we got it sorted out now. So it should be good to go going green here.
Alright, awesome. Thank you very much. We'll catch you later on. You can go drop yourself back in.
Alright, thanks.
As we are back underway here, it looks like the 12 of Matt Burgess not getting a great start there. 34 lap old tyres, which is very to be expected, but he's checked up that entire inside line massively. Tommy Bordeaux and Gerald West with nowhere to go, stuck behind him as they're falling through the field. Thomas Harmon holding onto the lead again. Derek Myers buried deep in the field. I'm not sure what's happened to Derek, but he is absolutely nowhere. As we've got the caution flag out again. I think that one was the 13 of Travis Massia. In fact, no, it wasn't. It was the 16 of Brian Chambliss. Let's go have a look what's happened to Brian here. See, looks like we're going into... That's 1 and 2. Oh, it was early on. It was with the 13. Oh, and Brian's just caught a piece of that. So is Caleb Finn. So we've got a little bit of investigating to do here. Let's see what's happened. I see. As we see here, the 13 of Travis Massia wanting to cut off the run by the 12 of Matt Burgess. Comes down the track, cuts across his nose. The net code provided by week 13 has just absolutely spun him out there across the nose of Matt Burgess. Matt gives him a second tap for his troubles. Tommy Bordeaux, very lucky not to get a piece of that. He might have just gotten a little bit though. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage. Then that's when the 16 comes in. Has his piece, which also collects the 95. It looks like Caleb Finn is able to continue on from there without too much drama. And Chris Champeau in the 2's gotten a piece of that. And he's managed to keep it off of the 22 of Brandon Miller. And that's where the cautions come out. That was a bit of a crazy situation there. And all 3 cars that were involved are a lap down. So Brandon Bennett in the 1 got the wave around. He is now 3 laps down from the field. And to think we've still got 60 laps left in this race. So let's do a quick little through the field here while we got some time under caution. We've got Thomas Harmon in the 38 on the lead. Behind him we have got the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Then making his way back up to 3rd after being wrecked and laps down, the 20 of Justin Botello. We have Gerald West in the 86 out of 4th. Tommy Bordeaux, who is still experiencing a bit of problems, in 5th. Mark Pentecoff in 6th. We've got Derek Myers, Brandon Miller, Matt Burgess, Caleb Finn, Brian Harris, Spreck Isaacson, and Brian Pizzakemi. As we're getting formed up and ready to run again. 16 of... Sorry, I just had a brain fart there. 16 of Charles Becker was just on the inside of the track for some reason. I think he was dropping back to the back of the field. As the pace car goes in, we are off and racing again.
Green flag.
Thomas Harmon with a big jump off the inside of the track this time. Not something that we've seen just yet. Looks like the battle is on for P2 between the 20 and the 21 cars. That's Justin Botello and Brian Chambliss respectively. Justin trying to go on the inside, couldn't get the move to work. As Brian, too much pace on that outside line. And it looks like Tommy Bordeaux is going to be wanting to stick his nose into this battle for second as well very shortly. Derek Myers says, hey guys, what about me? That's where I'm supposed to be. So we've got ourselves a 5-car battle here for second place. Justin Patello goes for the extreme outside line, almost tapping the wall. In fact, he does on the exit. That's allowed Tommy Bordeaux to get up on the inside of him here. Tommy unable to get the move to stick. Derek Myers says, I'm definitely getting myself into this battle now. As he is on the outside of Tommy Bordeaux, and he's going to get that position away from him. That's going to be Derek Myers back up into 4th. Justin trying to push hard to catch up to the 21 of Brian Chambliss here to try and get that move made back on the 21 to get himself back into a top tier position here. Derek just trying to look to get back into racing with Thomas Harmon again after they were having such an awesome battle early on. Looks like for the moment though, these guys have strung out just a little bit here as we saw Gerald West getting really close to Derek Myers there. And now Justin closing right in on the back of Brian Chambliss. Derek Myers looking low on Justin. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it. Justin checking up hard there for the back of Chambliss. Derek Myers taking the advantage on the inside. Can he get the move made on Justin going into turns 3 and 4? No is the answer as we come across the stripe. We've only got 49 laps left to run in this race. I say only because this is a very short lap. 15-second lap times, which means we get just under 4 laps every minute. As we're continuing to push on hard here, we've got 48 laps left in the books. So this race should effectively take just over 12 minutes. In fact, looking at my timing monitor, we've got 12 minutes and 33 seconds at the current pace left in this race. Brian Chambliss is very stoic, holding on to that second position right now, with Thomas Harmon just pulling away from these guys like they are nothing to him. Justin Patello is still holding on to that third position. And Derek Myers tries so very hard to try and get around trying to get around Justin. It's just not working out for him right now. Justin now going for a slightly lower line, but that's going to invite Derek to have a look around his outside. Couldn't quite get it pulled off for either of them. Derek now looking for the inside on Justin as Brian Chambliss going to that middle line in the corner. So we've got 3 lanes of racing here at Bristol. We've got the low, the medium and the high line. No one able to get advantage over anyone else using any other line, no. As you see Justin just about tap the back of the 21 there going through turn 4. These guys are absolutely pouring the pressure on each other, just waiting for one of them to blink. It looks like at the moment no one is willing to blink though, as we definitely got some very close racing here indeed. It looks like we've got the 16 of Charles Becker just about getting in the way there as lap traffic. Justin going to the very high line, just about rubbing the wall again. This time not hitting it coming off of the turn 4 corner. But he is getting ever closer and closer to that concave piece of bumper known as Brian Chambliss's back end. Let's jump on board with Brian Chambliss. Have a look outside of his bumper cam here. You can see the slightly damaged Justin Patello car right there behind him. Let's see if Justin closes right up on Brian or not. It'd be pretty cool to see Justin ranging right up onto the back of this camera angle. As I just about put my cigarette out into my coffee, which would not be very tasty. It looks like Derek Myers trying to make an inside run again on Justin. Couldn't quite get it pulled off. Now Gerald West going for the inside on Derek Myers as we rode on board with Brian Chambliss running into the wall there in turns 1 and 2. Gerald's still on the inside of Derek at the moment. It looks like it didn't quite work out for him. He's moved a little bit further back now as Brian Chambliss appears to be running away from Justin here. Justin's starting to close back in again. I have a swig of my coffee to try and lubricate my throat a little bit to make the talking a little bit easier. Derek Myers still trying to make that inside move work on Justin as we come across another lap car, another couple of lap cars. Chris Champeau is getting in the way at the moment. I wondered why Brian went low there, and that was the reason why, as it's a little bit of anarchy here right now. We're going to go back to having a look at Justin's progress here to see what he can do to try and get up onto the back of Brian Chambliss. Justin running the very low line, just about onto the apron. These guys are putting up some good numbers, but they're not running as fast as Thomas Harmon right now. Thomas, the fast time for the last lap at a 15.882. Which has just been eclipsed by Derek Myers actually to 15.887. These guys are putting absolutely everything on the table here. We've got 32 laps left to run in this race. In fact, 31 and a half. As I'm pretty sure Thomas has just gone across the stripe just a little bit before these guys. And they're just about to enter into some heavy lap traffic now. Lots of cars ahead to try and navigate through. See what advantages they can get as Brandon Bennett runs on the apron to allow all these guys to get past him. Very smart driving there by Brandon Bennett. Travis Masia staying on track because he is in a battle with some of these guys at the back of the pack here. Brian Chambliss going to the inside now. Justin going to try and look for a way around the rest of the battling pack here, as Brian couldn't quite get clear of Travis there. Looks like he might this time, but that's invited Justin Botello to be right in on his bumper. As we see 4 different lines now being taken. Brian Chambliss just caught up behind Caleb Finn a little bit there, cut off Justin's nose, and we've got a wreck. Justin just hitting the back of Brian Chambliss there, and Justin has fallen off the face of the earth. I think Justin might have just hit the incident limit. And Gerald West and Derek Myers have moved their ways up into 2nd and 3rd respectively now. We're going to have to see if we can try and get a hold of Justin, as we're going to continue on to watch this battle. Looks like Justin not in the Discord, so we're going to be unable to have a chat with him. As it looks like these guys have made their way safely through all the lap traffic. We only have 9 cars left on the lead lap. That might not be for much longer either, as Thomas is catching up to the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi, who is in 9th. Thomas just masterfully navigating through this traffic, extending his gap over the rest of the field. We have 23 laps to go now at the line. Thomas is just in cruise control right now. Pulling away from him, and we got a safety car. I'm not sure where the safety car is at or who is involved. Let's go back and see if we can have a look at it. Oh, it's the 13 and the 22. Let's take a little rewind here. We've got Brandon Miller running that high line, Travis Masia running the low line here. See Brandon diamonding off the corner very slightly. Travis is starting to come up the track. Light contact is made, as I'm pretty sure Travis would have thought that Brandon was going to be a lot higher on the track. And that's just sent Brandon around nose first contact into that inside wall. And that's probably going to be the end of Brandon's race, because those nose contacts are very hard on the cars. I'm going to try and get the attention of... Oh! Did Thomas Harmon get beaten off pit road? I'm pretty sure Thomas Harmon has just been beaten off pit road, which is going to put him back into 3rd. See if we can get a chat with Justin here. I was typed into his Twitch channel. There he is. We got him. Hey, Justin Corey up in the booth. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man.
Alright, so not the best race for you here today. Started off really badly with some wheel spin off the start. And I don't know what to say. You drove incredibly to go from being wrecked in the first lap to being there or thereabouts, to have it all come undone again. What's your assessment on what's happened today?
First one was my mistake. Just messed up. At the bottom there. It's fun.
And then what about that later incident that has led to you reaching the incident limit?
I was up high and just had nowhere to go. Made an abrupt move to 21, and I tried to get out of it, hit the brakes, and then got DQ'd. Once I got DQ'd, I tried to...
Alright, well no worries. Thank you very much for your time, Justin. I know that you're just about off to go do some other things. Anyone you'd like to thank while I got you up here in the booth, man?
Thank you guys for commentating, and thank you for the league, man. A lot of fun.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Justin. Hopefully we can have some better luck for you next week at Watkins Glen.
Oh yeah, catch you later.
Gotcha. Alright guys, so that was the 20 of Justin Botello. As you can tell, very dejected there as we go back underway here. Gerald West off to a big lead right now over Thomas Harmon, who has squeezed himself up into second in front of Derek Myers. These two going to be continuing on their leading battle from before. But this time they've got to do it with both of them trying to get back to the lead instead of just one of them trying to battle the other. Looks like they're also going to have to contend with Tommy Bordeaux sitting there in the 4th position just behind. Got Gerald West, Thomas Harmon, Derek Myers, Tommy Bordeaux, Matt Burgess, Brian Chambers, Brian Harris, Caleb Finn, Frank Isaacson and Brian Pizzakemi as your top 10 and your only cars on the lead lap right now. And it looks like Thomas has pulled in Gerald West from the lead here a little bit. Everyone on fresh tyres here in the top 10. And everyone except Travis Massio with fresh tyres full stop. As we now have just 12 laps left to run, can Thomas Harmon get the lead back and continue on his winning streak here at Bristol? It's going to be hard to tell, but if anyone can do it, it is going to be Thomas. Thomas now going to the inside of Gerald, going through turns 3 and 4. Couldn't quite get the move done, has to shuffle back in behind him. Goes back down to that low line again. Gets right up on the left rear quarter panel of Gerald West there, trying to unsettle him a little bit. Goes up high, just rubs the fence. That's the Bristol equivalent of getting to Darlington stripe. We see Thomas back to the inside. Nothing doing, still holding station in second there. Derek Myers is starting to close in on both of these guys now. Thomas heavily into the wall that time. That one wasn't a straight, that one was a wreck. See Thomas pushing very hard, trying to get whatever momentum he can. I think he just nudged the wall there coming up at turn 4 as well. As we just about have 6.5 laps left to run. Thomas trying everything he can to try and get back in front of Gerald West here to try and gain his win and cement his superiority here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. He's right on Gerald's tail here. He goes back down to the inside. Gerald goes high. This time Thomas maintains a little bit of overlap. Doesn't look like he can quite get the move made. He goes up a little bit high and he can't get the move made. Gerald got him clear. Derek now buying his way into this battle, wanting to look for a move around Thomas. Probably, oh, Thomas has made a mistake. He's in the fence. And then he slides up in front of Derek to hold onto that second position. That was a very bad situation, as we now only have a couple of laps left to run. 2.5 to be exact. Thomas now driving very ragged, just smashing himself off the wall there. 2 laps to go in this race. He desperately wants this win. He goes back down to the inside of Gerald West. Absolutely sends it in there deep. Holds it down low. Slides up in front of him. Puts him into the wall. And we've got the white flag, so no caution is going to come out. Thomas, with probably one of the dirtiest slide jobs I've ever seen, has just taken the lead. And he's going to get the win here at Bristol. Derek Myers P2. Gerald West P3. Tommy Bordeaux in 4th. Brian Chambliss in 5th. Matt Burgess P6. Brian Harris 7th. Caleb Finn 8th. Frank Isaacson in 9th. And Brian Pizzakemi in 10th. We're going to see a little bit of a celebration here from Thomas Harmon right now. And if I was Gerald West, I would be very, very dirty on him. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this for now. We're going to go to a quick ad break, and when we come back, we'll be having interviews with drivers. Alrighty guys, we are back And we're kicking things off as per normal with our Hard Charger Award. And our Hard Charger for tonight is going to be the 7 of Brian Harris. Brian, great job out there today, man. 17th to 7th in what was probably one of the most trying races of the season. First of all, man, how do you feel?
I feel fantastic. That was a very difficult, challenging race. Lots of cautions, lots of avoidance of wrecks.
And we did notice that you were there or thereabouts with a couple of the wrecks. How did that affect your race with contact that you may have received, and then just the general trying to fight back into a decent position?
Made contact with Charles under that big issue that we had where we had to delay a few times because I did not get the yellow flag until after I had made contact with him. And then I had to get the 30 seconds of repairs for that. Biggest issue was just staying back, letting everybody go through the motions of spinning, getting through the cautions, the lap traffic, and then just fighting my way from there to the front.
All right, awesome, man. Well, while we got you up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to thank for helping you out here tonight?
Thank you for the broadcast, Jaron for running the league, and I want to thank my pit crew because those guys the last few weeks ran me around 15-second lap times, and tonight every stop was like a 13.6, 13.7. Couldn't have done it without them.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, man. And look forward to seeing what you can do at Watkins Glen next week.
I look forward to a massacre there.
All right, guys. So that was the 7 of Brian Harris, today's Hard Charger Award winner, 17th to 7th. Coming up next, we have the heartbreak story of this race. We're going to be talking to Gerald West. Gerald, man, damn.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, I don't know what to say in this situation that will make anything feel any better other than you drove a solid race up to that point. What's the feeling going into next week at Watkins?
Oh man, it's all good, you know. A lot of people take it more serious than I do, so it's not that big of a deal. You know, he did try to apologize, but he made an excuse, which kind of makes it invalid to me. It would have been better off he'd have said, "Dang, I just overdrove it and wrecked you," you know. But he tried to come up with an excuse. So I mean, you're gonna have that when you're racing for the win. You're gonna have people that race you dirty. You're gonna have people that race you clean. And he put me in the wall for the win. And hey, congrats to him on the win. But you know, I would have rather raced it out and drag race to the start finish line. Would have been a better race for everybody watching and for me and him as well. I know he don't probably feel as good winning it like that, but all he's here is for points, so it shows.
All right, man. Now let's steer away from that and let's talk about the rest of the race. Um, a very hard fought race for pretty much everyone here. With there being so many cautions, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, with it being Bristol when the crashes do happen. What was it like for you, battling your way from 20th position on the grid and finding yourself up the front there?
I was just cruising around, Corey. Just out there riding around. I knew it was a long race, so I knew a lot of people would wad them up. And I wanted to be there at the end, of course. So just kind of riding around, and I seen people staying out on old tires, so I pretty much knew what was going to happen. And on the restarts, you just got to be patient. And a lot of people overdrive. They drive a lot harder than their talent level. So I mean, they just need a little more seat time. Other than that, man, it was a great race, though. A couple cautions, a couple things that happened kind of shook it up a little bit. But other than that, it was all in all clean race for me. I had a little bit of damage from one of those restarts. I checked up, because they were crashing up front, and somebody ran into the back of me. But other than that, I had a clean car, and so Thomas put me in a wall there. So I had a pretty good race, man. I'm coming out of here pretty happy with it.
All right, man. Well, anyone you'd like to thank while we got you up here in the booth?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I gotta give a shout out to SRTV Network for being on the hood. My team, Smoke Show Racing. I know they're not here, but Derek out there, he got a good run. So you in the booth, man, for calling the races, dude. I always go back and watch them just to see what happened out there because you don't see a lot from the cockpit. And everybody that watches and the admins, of course, that output all the drivers that came out and anybody else, man. I thank everybody. Thank Thomas too.
Alrighty, man. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you next week at Watkins, and hopefully you have a little bit of a better run there.
All right, Corey. Thanks, buddy.
Alright, guys, so that was the 86 Gerald West, unfortunately finishing third when he probably should have finished in first. Coming up next, the man who was running second for most of the night and had a very great battle early on with Thomas and the teammate of Gerald West there. We were, of course, talking to the 54 of Derek Myers now in second place. Derek, congratulations on P2, man. And wow, what an ending to the race, eh?
Yeah, it was a fun race. It's my best track, so of course me thinking about this track when we were coming in here and a week ago I saw it. I know this is gonna be a good shot for me to win and qualified very well. Like almost got the pole, but yeah, we had a good battle, but mainly all the action, there was at the end. And on that last restart, I tried to, I thought I was clear, like the block of Tommy Bordeaux's run, and didn't. And we both hit the wall, and my right front had a lot of damage. And I'm sorry to him. I'm going to talk to him about it, but I'll have to go message him or something. But that gave my car a lot of damage. I was still able to stay up there in the top three, and I knew if I could stay close enough that you know something may happen, and that something did happen with Gerald and Thomas. And when it happened, I had nowhere to go. Jerry came off the wall. He got put in the wall pretty good and came down into me. And I tried so hard to get to Thomas on that last lap and that last turn. I just sent it off in the corner, but I wasn't close enough to do anything. And maybe I would have, but I'm not gonna do something dirty. That's just not how I am. Now a bump and run at Bristol, that's expected, but just not driving it off and tagging someone for a win. That's not how I do it. And it was a fun race. I just wish a few things happened differently.
Let's go back to the very start of the race. You're starting up towards the front, and the car on your inside, Justin Botello, gets the wheel spin and checks up the entire inside line, has his own little bit of a wreck there. How did you feel seeing that happen either in your left screen or in your mirror, whichever one it happens to be? I'm a part of the single screen mafia myself, so I wouldn't have been able to see that until it was in my mirror.
Yeah, I have triples, but Jaron before the race, on face laps, he's like, there's probably gonna be some wheel spin and stuff, and just be careful. And if we make it through the first few laps, we'll probably go green. Well, that didn't happen. We were on brand new tires. I just don't get how that happens, and I don't know who it took out, but that sucks. First lap of the race, I'd be pissed, and I just don't know. I feel like he's better, good enough to know that. Like I didn't go full mat to the gas, with my floor. I mean, gas pedal, but I, I'm just glad I wasn't a part of it. Went right to the lead from there and led, 30, 40 laps and had Thomas right there. But I was for sure top three car. But yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Now, early in that race, a very great battle between yourself and Thomas. You were probably saved a couple times there by those cautions that were coming out, because I seen that Thomas was attempting that pass on the inside, which he looked very strong at to begin with. How was that battle for you, just personally?
I don't think I was saved by any cautions. I mean, it's Bristol. You don't use all your stuff up at the beginning of the race. I wasn't running as high, against the wall as I would as if there was 20 to go or 10 to go. It wasn't. You're not going to win the race on that lap, but we got caught in some lap cars, and he kind of used a lap car as a pick to get around me there. And it's hard to pass. I mean, especially if you know how to run that high line. And clear track. I feel like I could hold him off if I was on the high line, but he was very fast. I definitely race winning car. But yeah, it was a good battle, and I just don't use my stuff up at the beginning.
All right, man. Well, what you got? Yeah, up here in the booth. Anyone you'd like to thank here tonight?
I'd like to thank my teammate, he's a very good teammate, and it sucks what happened to him and stuff. I was hoping to get the second on that restart so I could have to duel with him. We haven't had a duel in a while, and normally he gets the best of me, but I thought tonight would be different. But I'm just glad to get second place, and even though I want to win so bad, and it's been a while, and I keep running up there like that, it'll come. And thank you for the broadcast, and thanks to Jaron on putting on the league and stuff. And he said this race was a little bit difficult to get things sorted out throughout the race, and that we may not go back. But I think I would love to go back. I mean, a lot of people like it, and the wrecks happen. This is a short track, and maybe next time will be better. But I don't think it should be erased.
All right, well, thank you very much, Derek, and hopefully you might be able to get that W next week at Watkins.
That'll be a tough one. Hopefully a top 10. That'd be nice.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, man. Derek Myers, everyone, finishing in second place here. And now, the man that we all want to talk to find out what the hell happened. We're, of course, talking to our winner, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas, let's not talk about what happened first. Let's go all the way back to the start of the race. Justin Botello starting on pole, spins his tyres. You and Derek shoot off into the lead. What was the feeling there, and what was it like reacting to Justin spinning his tyres?
At that point, I was just praying that he didn't correct it back up into me or spin it up into me, and which would probably cause a massive wreck right off the before we cross the start finish. But thankfully, it didn't happen, and thankfully, it didn't give any black flags for it.
Yeah, it was a really good battle between yourself and Derek there throughout the race. After that, many times you were looking very strong and looking like you were going to try and get that pass on him on the inside, and then just those untimely cautions come out and just completely halted your run. What was that like feeling for you, knowing that those cautions were kind of stunting your run there a little bit?
It was quite frustrating because it seemed like every time I would start that my bottom line would start to prevail, that then we get a caution. Every time I get to his bumper, we get a caution, and it would just it was frustrating. But once I finally got the lead from him, it felt good to be out front and not have to worry about that.
Now let's talk about later on in the race. A lot of heavy lap traffic there towards the end of the race, which helped you gain quite a bit of a gap there before that final caution came out. Did you think at that point, all the cautions were done and you're going to have this thing run and won and you're just going to run away into the sunset with it?
Honest answer, there was a group of 6 cars when I got there, and they were all side by side. I didn't have much hope that we'd go green. I was just hoping that the caution would come sooner than what it did, if at all. But it came very untimely, and pit crew turned to a lovely 15.2.
Yeah, so we were wondering what happened when you come out of the pits in third. Now we got the explanation for that. So now, let's move on to the thing that we all want to know. What happened there right at the very end?
I got under him. I got the run on him to get under him, and I had every intent of drag racing him down the front and trying to get him in 1 and 2. But I got such a run on him on the inside that figured I'd go ahead and try to clear him and slide job him in the process. And I haven't looked at it to see what kind of gap wasn't there. But I don't think there was much farther that I had to go to clear him. But either way, I didn't clear him and stuffed us both in the wall, and essentially stole it from him.
Alrighty, man. Well, while we got you here in the booth, anyone you'd like to thank for helping you out here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to you up in the booth for broadcasting it to everybody, and Jaron for putting on the league and dealing with all the jacked up situations tonight, and all the competitors that come out every week, and all the fans that watch.
Alright, well, before we let you go, are you excited or a little bit worried about Watkins next week?
I like running at Watkins, but I suck there, so I'll be lucky to pull off a top 5.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, Thomas, and we'll catch you next week at Watkins.
All right, see you there.
Alrighty, guys, so there was Thomas Harmon, today's winner, and very controversially, So, speaking of controversially, we're going to bring up league owner and operator right now, Jaron Sanchez, to get his comment on the situation. Jaron, lots of cautions there. A little bit of a mix-up in the middle of the race by the live admin, and a long time to fix that. But dramatic last couple of laps there. What's your feeling on how this entire event went, and what's your opinion on what happened there at the very end?
Yeah, it wasn't pretty from start to finish, that's for sure. And I had a front row seat to watch pretty much all of it. It wasn't too good, and then making the mistake in the middle of the race. I cleared a black flag when I shouldn't have, and then went to go fix it, and just I delayed the a little too late, and it was pretty much it was a mess with these short pace laps. It's just hard to process all the information coming at me and trying to make the right decision before green or anything happened. So it was just, and it took a while to fix that. It was all bad. So you live and learn, and it's still fun doing all this stuff. It's just wish these races weren't so stressful and messy sometimes, but you come to expect it from Bristol.
All right, now let's talk about that dramatic last lap there between Thomas and Gerald. I know that you weren't racing, so you were probably watching it live in your replay camera there. What's your opinion on that situation?
Yeah, he just threw it in there. Thomas, I guess even the best can make a mistake, but I don't know. It didn't look good. Probably usually would know better than to throw it in like that, especially at a track he's so good at. But I don't know. I'm still processing that and looking at it, but things happen and people make mistakes, and I don't think he feels too good about it. And I know the other guys don't feel good about it. It's just kind of wish it would all. Can't wait to wake up tomorrow and be done with tonight. Say that.
All right, so Watkins next week, our road course for the series this season. You excited or what for Watkins next week?
Yeah, it should be good. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fast. I've never been there in the B car, so I'm gonna have to get a lot of practice, and we'll see what happens. It's gonna be fun.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. And this is actually going to wrap up the broadcast here right now, guys. Want to give out a big thanks to Jaron for putting on the league and appointing me as his official commentator. Thank you to all the drivers and teams that show up. Thank you to all you guys who watched both on Twitch, on YouTube, and on my personal Twitch channel for the replay. And it's absolutely awesome to see the support that you guys give. Don't forget to catch us next week for the race around Watkins Glen. Also, you can catch the replay on both YouTube and my personal Twitch channel tomorrow. Morning time for me, earlier in the evening for Americans. And don't forget, we also do a replay of the broadcast right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator Twitch channel Friday night as well. So make sure you stick around for that. So until next week at Watkins Glen, thank you guys for coming out and having a watch. And we'll see you guys next time.